Welcome to the Vision Gap Show. Align your big idea and vision with a plan of action to resonate and stand out in your market. With your hosts, Andy Halko and Tony Zayas.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's show. We are going to dive in and look at the refreshed, reconfigured, new competitor analysis section here in Frictionless. So Andy, this is a super exciting update, I would have to say. Do you want to take us through what we have?
Yeah, super excited about this. We completely revamped the competitors analysis feature, and I love it. I think that when you're doing any sort of strategic planning, you're thinking about marketing, to understand what others are doing and really understand it in depth is just super useful for marketing, for sales when they're talking to folks and they really need to understand the difference. And then product teams that are trying to understand what features they should build or how they should go to market. So I think this is really exciting. You can kind of see here, we've got some competitors that we've already brought into Frictionless. And then from here, we can click into a specific competitor. And the great thing is it pulls out some information for us right away, information about like how many employees, when they were founded, the description that they have on LinkedIn, and then it's pulling in an image of their homepage for a web analysis. And you can see over here to the right, it's beginning the process of AI analysis of their site. And this information to me ends up being really great, that it helps understand how they're positioning themselves. The messaging could be more cohesive as it seems to target both administrators and students without clarity of differentiating the benefits for each. And then it'll come in and give you some weaknesses and strengths of their positioning. So a weakness here attempts to address multiple audiences simultaneously. A strength, brand effectively uses testimonials and recognizable partner logos to build credibility and trust. So within a couple of seconds, you've got this positioning, design, content, layout, and conversion analysis that really helps you understand what they're doing well, what they're not doing well, so you can either take advantage of it or copy it.
For the sake of understanding, if someone's never done a competitive analysis, just this step, how long would you say would it typically take prior to having this in Frictionless?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we would do all the time for our clients. The process of going and having someone look at a site, look at every section of the page, look at the content, and then come in and sit down and really think through it and then develop things like these weaknesses and strengths. You're talking hours to days of time, which we just were able to do in a couple of minutes, if not less. And we've really trained our AI to think through these things the way that we would have done it. And that's why you see things of, weaknesses, color contrast between bright yellow and white text in some sections is insufficient, which may cause readability issues. That is something that you would bring a UX person in, right, and they would help give context to. Whereas positioning, you would actually have to bring in more of a marketing-minded person to think through, how they're actually positioning their brand with this messaging. Content, again, you might have to bring in a writer. Content lacks emotional engagement, which could make it more compelling and relatable. Or the writing is clear and straightforward, which makes the information easily accessible to a wide audience. You would bring a writer in for that. And then conversion, you'd have to come back around to a marketing expert to say, the CTAs lack urgency. Phrases getting started and learn more do not create a sense of urgency or necessity, But we see down here CTAs are consistently placed throughout the page, keeping the conversion options visible as the user scrolls. So we've gotten, again, 4 different disciplines coming in here within 5 minutes and giving expert analysis for us on our competitor.
And we're just getting started.
So the next stage is messaging, right? So it's kind of an extension of the positioning, but it's really the capability of pulling out each of the different messages on this page. And one of the reasons we do that is just to help provide clarity, because when you're thinking about redesigning your homepage or you're looking at writing some content, being able to clearly see each of the key messages is really important. And so what we're doing now is we're basically grabbing a lot of this text and organizing it into each of the different sections throughout the homepage. And so this will really give us some good context on the messaging.
Right. And I know we'll look at it shortly, but having the ability to do comparison of understanding your messaging, your competitors' messaging, and across your competitors, something I find interesting is seeing what everybody is talking about. So some of the topics that get missed by some competitors or maybe your business, and giving thought to that. Is it relevant? Should I add it? Or is that something that we don't want to? So it allows that you're not missing any key sections or topics. Is something that I found powerful.
Exactly. And obviously live demos, you always run into challenges. So we're going to skip that and come back as it does the analysis. And we're going to jump into key phrases, which I think is something that people always want to see, is how do people rank in search engines? And so you can see this actually pulls in their key phrases. We have a process where we're really trying to focus on the phrases that we think have the most value. It really tries to at least take out some of the really low quality phrases. And so we can come in and see, by position, which one student platform they're ranking number 3 for. It's got a volume of 70, so their estimated traffic is 7. And then we can even view the page that they are ranking for. And then you can see here kind of just a graph of some of the major stats around their different key phrases. So that one is really important. Articles is another interesting one. So what we do is we actually come in here and we're pulling out all the various articles that they have on their website, and we begin to analyze that as well, where basically what we're doing is once these are pulled out, it's going to bring in an analysis that really helps you understand the different articles and content that they're creating.
So is that running right now? It's doing the analysis? Okay.
And I'll just keep jumping through as we're doing this because it takes a little bit of time behind the scenes. But social, we can see how many followers they have, as well as some of their latest posts. Web performance is always an important one, not just from a technical standpoint, but to understand what they're doing on their site from a tool perspective. So you'll see in a couple of seconds, we'll actually be able to see what technologies they use on their website, which can help us understand what things should we be using as well.
Yeah, a big one that I usually point out to clients is, if we see that a competitor is running ads on a certain platform, that might be an area of opportunity that wasn't thought about. But if the competitor's doing it, it could be successful. So good to know.
I always like software, you see they're using SalesLoft, Kickfire.com, gives us a sense of like, okay, what tools are they using in their marketing and sales process? So that to me is always important. Then we can come in here and benchmark. We've got a set of factors that you can choose to benchmark, where you would say something like, industry expertise, they're advanced, approach and methodology, competent, price, maybe it's below average. And we can do that across features, customer experience, validation, their customer list, maybe it's best in class. And that'll actually come into play in our benchmarking tab, where we can pull together all of our different competitors and benchmark them on different factors. I love this because as you go through it, one of the things that you end up doing is you may have something where you see a certain one is all in kind of reds and oranges. You start saying to yourself very quickly, visually, here's an opportunity for us. Here's a place that we could maybe outcompete these other folks. I think for product teams, this is a great capability, is that you can add in all the features of the product. You can then map them out across all competitors, and that becomes a conversation about what features should we build next, who is like crushing certain features that we have to either keep up, or who is missing features that we can take advantage of and get ahead in the marketplace. And so I really love this benchmarking feature from that perspective. And then we can actually pull in similar companies as well. And so if we're doing competitive analysis, sometimes we don't know all of the different companies that are out there. And so this actually goes out and finds a bunch of similar companies so that we can look at them on LinkedIn, and maybe we say, hey, we have to add them to our competitive list. And so we can do that on a lot of these competitors. I'll come back through, and take a look again, just pulling in their images, analyzing their messaging, their keywords, all of these different things is really a big piece of what you can do across all of the competitors. And then just because we're trying to move on, one of the things that I love too is the comparison feature. And so what we can do is we can actually select a couple of our competitors. I'll just come in here and we can see different things about them side by side. So in this one, it's screenshots. Maybe we just want to see what our competitors' sites look like. This is great for evaluation of saying, oh, well, across all of the headers, this is kind of the approach that people are taking. Visually, this is how it looks. In the middle section, we're seeing that they're doing these things. And then you can go down and start looking at some of the other pieces. So I don't think we've analyzed everybody, but I'll do top search rankings. And so in this case, you would be able to see search key phrases across various competitors. Or if we wanted to, we could see the tools that they use. So lots of capability there as well. And then you can come in and look at the tech stack. And so we just talked about this. This actually is a tool that will pull together all of the different technologies used across your competitors and pull in some information about them. And so each one you can kind of click through and understand what that does for them. And if we don't have it, we actually go out and pull data in about it so that you can understand each of the technologies that these folks are using. So Kickfire right now, I'm not familiar with it myself, but it's a tool that gains website insight into website visitors. It includes IP address intelligence and real-time visitor identification. Also it improves lead generation. And so now I understand that, this one competitor is tracking people on their website to try and identify them through IP address. And again, we can pull in this information for all of these different tools. And then in search visibility, once we've actually analyzed the search words for all of our different competitors, it brings it all together so that you can see it as a holistic group. So you'll be able to see top rankings for different competitors. You'll be able to see those words kind of pulled together in one list. Just gives you a really good sense of where people are from a search perspective.
And we had the conversation on this, but there's a lot of people that pay for pretty costly software that does, deep analysis on keywords and things like that. And I think what this is delivering is that really critical stuff that is very actionable. It's the phrases and search volume, things like that. This is some powerful info that you now have access to about, your business as well as your competitors to see keywords and things like that. So pretty powerful from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is really to give you a comprehensive view and then be able to really understand how you can leverage that to outcompete these folks. You can see here, articles brought that up here with this site, cover a range of topics centered around career readiness, educational strategies. So what we've done is we've actually gone and pulled in all of these articles, taken all of the titles and descriptions of them and analyzed them to understand high-level analysis, patterns and trends, what they're doing right, tone analysis, and then even some ideas and inspiration associated to that. I always think that's a great capability, is to look across your competitors and understand, what are they talking about on a regular basis? Are there certain topics that we want to make sure that we're doing? You can see this one is a new article that was updated 19 hours ago. So they launched this yesterday. We have a good sense of that. And so at the end of the day, what we've got is all of our competitors in one place. Our marketing, our sales team, our product team, our leadership team, all of them have access to come in and see this information and really understand the market better than they would, without any tool.
And what are the recommendations that are delivered in this section?
Those are the companies that
right.
we've found that
Other competitors.
match. And so if for some reason there's some ones that we haven't found, again, I think when you first launch the tool, it provides recommendations on competitors that you should look at.
Awesome. This is a big update to the platform. We had the competitive analysis section, but a lot more was manual in the last version. So now this is pulling in a tremendous amount of information, doing the work for you behind the scenes, and really mapping out a pathway to compete and outperform your competition. So highly recommend everybody try it out. If you have not, sign up, frictionlesshq.com. Get in there, play around with it, reach out to us if you'd like a demo, and hope you find it valuable. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you next time.
This episode of the Vision Gap Show has been brought to you by Frictionless. Build high-impact strategy at scale. Create your vision, brand position, and go-to-market strategy, all in a collaborative AI-enabled workspace. Visit frictionlesshq.com to create your free account today.